red card at the end there. That's not what we want to see in the game, but I tell you what, your performance today as a group certainly was. Massive congratulations, a very comprehensive victory, and that's a clean sweep for the autumn series. Sum up the emotions for me.
Yeah, obviously a very tough game to end the tour on. It's been 5 long weeks, but yeah, like I said, very happy with this win. Yeah, I'm just happy to be standing here and having a clean sweep of this tour. Yeah, we worked really hard for it, and happy we got the rewards at the end.
Yeah, so many changes to this team compared to some of the teams we've seen in the autumn so far, but still the bucket load of the experience that we're used to and the dominance that we're used to seeing. What was the most pleasing aspect of that 80 for you guys?
I think whatever team they pick any week, every guy steps up, everyone knows their role. I think everyone in the group is everything's so cohesive that it doesn't matter who play. Everyone trusts each other from 1 to 50 in the squad. So whoever steps in plays well, and we play together.
A quick word on your opposition, because obviously Wales have had their struggles over the last couple of years. I'm just wondering what you guys expected of them this afternoon, because you made it really difficult for them to even fire a shot.
Yeah, well, when you come to Wales, you can always expect a team that never gives up. It's a very tough nation to play against. Physically, they're always up for it. So we knew we had to dig deep for this one and stick to the processes and not let the game get loose.
Well, André, massive congratulations. A huge win for you in Cardiff. Good to see you. Well done.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, see, that's a Northern Hemisphere full house. You return to South Africa or a beach nearby, I don't know, with a clean sweep. Just to sum up the satisfaction that comes with that.
No, we're very happy with what we've done, and we faced a little bit of challenges along the way, but the way that we came together as a group and the plans that the coaching staff made to help whatever was happening in the game, really proud of it, and I'm proud of the growth of the team as well. I think we've used over 50 players throughout the whole year, so working on squad depth while winning, it's really a big thing for us as a group.
Let's talk a little bit about that 80 then. It was a very comprehensive scoreline at the end. I think you only had to make 24 tackles in that first half. Wales couldn't fire a shot really. Was it as easy as it looked?
No, we had to fight. You know, we had a plan. When we obviously respected Wales, we tried to not play in our half at all, wanted to play in their half. I think hence why, you know, they had made a tackle. We played most of the game on their half, but it wasn't easy. We had to fight for everything that we got today.
You've had a few red cards on this tour as a group, and taken nothing away from today's performance with that, because that was very, very good. That red card at the end, though, soured it a little bit. What did you make of it?
I'm sure he didn't mean to do that on purpose. There's no ways. I mean, if you go for an eye gouge, you know what happens after that. But hopefully, he said sorry to the guy already. But I don't want that to be the highlight of the day. It's been a good day, and also like for me, I've listened to what the people have been saying. You know, in the media, why did Wales play this game? The only way for a team to get better is to play against the best. And I know the first choice guys went here, but there's new guys who got an opportunity. Next year when they come to, they've already faced this. And all I can say to them, they must just pull together. I know Welsh people are fighting people. We don't stand down for anybody. And we've been through this too. 2015, I think, I don't know how many guys retired. And we went through a dip for 2 years straight where we struggled as a team, where people burnt out jerseys and nobody wanted to watch us. And then Coach Rusty came and made a plan. So I know the players will fight, the coaching staff will come up with a plan, but the young boys that played today, they've got a day of experience against playing against the top.
It's always fantastic to see you in Cardiff. I mean, the crowd behind me here chanting your name. Enjoy the victory, enjoy your time off now.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Great to see you. So Dewi, that was a tough one. It was always going to be, wasn't it? I mean, what are the emotions? What can you tell us after that 80?
Well, quite emotional really. It's obviously disappointing. Never want to leave a field with a scoreboard looking like that, but look, I think ultimately we were overpowered by the end. I think physically we stood up through points, but just not enough. And look, we know there's lots to work on, there's lots to build on, but ultimately we're disappointed with today.
Listen, it's so hard. It was so hard for you guys to fire a shot today, and Steve spoke pre-match about how important discipline was going to be. But how difficult is that when you're up against, a scrum as good as South Africa's, or the power in their power play is tough?
Yeah, look, I think we knew set piece was always going to be tough. I think we handled it decently well. considering the power they've got in that area. Stopped the driving maul really well. I think the scrum held up at points it didn't. But when you're against a pack like that that's just well drilled at that set piece, it's tough to get every decision. Look, I think ultimately some were quite harsh in there, but it's our job to try and take the referee out of the game, really, show clear daylight and offsides, get out of rucks where we can. And yeah, look, that's been something we've spoken about a lot through this campaign, because I think it's something that's letting us down at the minute and putting us into difficult spots.
So look, autumn done, 1-1, lost 3, but signs of improvements at times. I think everyone would agree to that. So from the outside, looking in, we can see those little improvements. From your point of view, what do you build on now looking ahead to the Six Nations? What can you grab onto?
I think the biggest thing we can grab onto is how much we've connected as a group, how much we've grown as a group. Maybe how much we've connected to the fans in this campaign as well. I think that's been a massive driving point for Steve, is trying to regain that trust with the fans, that connection to them. And I think we've worked hard to try and do it as players and group of staff, and a whole squad, really. So hopefully that's something everybody's seen. Look, I think our attacking shapes have been great in parts. It was never going to be perfect on short turnaround of things, but I think ultimately what we've got to build on is this group.
Yeah, tough day today, Dewi, but I appreciate you talking to us as ever.
Yeah, thank you.
I knew it was going to be tough. It was going to be a tough battle today. Was it as tough or even tougher than you expected?
Yeah, I think you always knew it was going to be tough, and in fairness, they can strangle you, and they certainly did that to us today. So, yeah, it's harsh lessons of Test rugby, and around whether it be a discipline or set piece, if you give penalties or free shots, they can really strangle you.
Yeah, because a lot was said about how this was a second-string Springbok side. You count the caps and look at some of the experience, and you'd question that, I guess. We spoke about discipline pre-match, and I'm sure that's one of the frustrations. What else have you got out of that?
I think there's a lot of frustrations, but ultimately sometimes you come up against a team that are much better and way further down the track than you. They're double world champions for a reason, and then it's probably how they squeeze the game. Sometimes you're not doing a lot wrong, but actually you can't get the ball back, or they just walk you up the field. So there's some harsh realities and lessons in that game for us, but it's something that you still won the game. And again, for our boys to see how far we need to go and grow and get that strength of depth. You see some boys getting opportunities today, so it's something that is a harsh lesson, but ultimately this is part of the journey we're going on.
You touched upon it there, the boys getting exposure to this kind of environment, but I mean, it's difficult to see with that scoreline, outside of the test window as well, what else Wales have gotten out of that 80. What else would you say we've
Yeah, look, I think, hopefully we look back in a few years and around where we've come, and I think probably for me as a head coach, looking at the first 3 games of all the positivity that we brought, and then you come to a game like this and like I said, you get those lessons, but there's still opportunities that within the game where we can be better. And also I think for our boys going up against it, but also understand how far we've got to go. And again, there's that respite, whether it be physicality pieces, learning around the technical aspects. It's a massive learning for us. A
sour finish to the game. I'm going to have to ask you about that red card and what your take on it was. It's not something that we want to see in the game, is it? Yeah, look, obviously I can only see a little bits of it, but if it is what it is, then you definitely don't want to see that in the game. Should we look ahead to the Six Nations then? Yes. Because as you mentioned, we spoke about it pre-match. You're four games in now, to your tenure. What have you learned from this group of yours? Because we have seen positives along the way. So what have you learned as you look ahead to the Six Nations? Oh, look, I think within the group, you see how connected they are and they do fight. And even today, it wasn't a lack of effort. And you've seen the New Zealand game, the Argentina. I think there's lots of positives to come out of that game, the way we got over the line against Japan. So for me, it's taking those, but also understanding of where we need to grow and where we need to adapt and adapt quickly, ready for the Six Nations.